Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nikki. Today we're going to speak about Diddy and Cassie. The headlines are crazy with Diddy. The the news, social media, every outlet is talking about this trial. Diddy is facing RICO charges. They're trying to get him for racketeering, sex trafficking, all that stuff. I'm here not to discuss the case, but to discuss the effects of Cassie. Now, she had 2 days of being on the stand talking to the prosecutors who are on her side. Like, she's helping them build a case against Sean Combs. And the things they had to talk about, mind you, her husband, Alex Fine, is in the audience listening to her testimony. And she shared a lot of graphic details of the freak offs that allegedly happened. And the details were crazy. I could not fathom. When we heard about the oils, when we heard about the baby oils, and when the raid happened in Miami to his house, and there was a room stacked, it looked like a supermarket full of oils, I did not understand that it was to this magnitude. When I say Cassie revealed that she was in a baby pool, like they poured like 10 bottles of baby oil in a pool, and she just rolled around the oil fully clothed on. Every time there was a freak off, and this was weekly freak offs, baby oil was a part of it. But the fact that Puffy Sean Combs, he was watching and filming this in the back. Let's take a memory trip down when they first met. So Cassie met him through her old producer. I forgot his name, but I will link it down below. But they met at the age, I believe, a little before she turned 21. She turned 21, boom, they started having a relationship. Keep in mind, Cassie's ex-producer, also her lover, was significantly older than Cassie. Keep that in mind. She gravitates to older men. The relationship was great. She was happy, everything. There's text message that came up when the defense cross-examined Cassie, and they uncovered a lot of stuff, and it was conflicting information. They engaged in freak offs willingly. She was a willing participant in these sexual escapades with her then boyfriend, Sean Combs. It seemed like it took a turn and she didn't want it anymore. And she wanted to not participate in that, which is her right too, because just because you started a situation, in a relationship, you started one way, that doesn't necessarily, you can't say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. But it appears that he didn't want her to leave. It appears allegedly that he didn't want her to leave and he didn't want to stop it. So he was using the videos that he filmed while she was doing these freak offs with these random men. Now the men were different men that they would rent per se. And there was mostly black men, I believe all black men, and they may have been well endowed. But the point of this video is to talk about her relationship with her husband. Now, he listened to testimony in the courtroom the first 2 days about she's having orals with multiple partners. Sores are in her mouth, not STI sores, but because of the friction and the constant orals that she had to endure over the course of time and not fully healing. She also had UTIs as a result. She also had to do this while she was menstruating, and he did not even care. He is like he charted her menstrual, allegedly charted her menstrual, and planned these freak offs with her in between. And if it happened to be that she was on her menstrual, the freak off still took place. The fact, and we need to talk about this, the fact that her husband listened to those testimony, listened to his now wife, the mother of his 2 kids, about to be a 3rd child because Cassie is very pregnant. The fact that he sat in that courtroom for the first 2 days listening to the testimony of his wife being smutted out. Yes, I said it, being smutted out, because she was being smutted out. The level of that man to also hear that she choked on urine because the showers was happening in her mouth. To hear that, for a man to hear publicly what his wife had to endure. Now, I said to myself, what type of man would listen and support it? Because it's a difference if Cassie is at home with him, sharing, because they may have had a trauma bond. Like, she met him when she was leaving, trying to leave Diddy, even though she backpedaled a few times and he found out during day 3 of the cross-examination. They met at that juncture where she needed to be healed, where she needed to be saved, where she endured a lot of trauma as the result of being in a relationship with Sean Combs, which she wanted. She wasn't forced. So he supported her through that. But there's a big difference. There's a big difference with supporting your spouse privately. There's another difference with publicly hearing what is being said, because we all know we share a lot of things with our significant other privately. The cut is a little deep, but it's not deep. When public people is publicized that she endured all this stuff, because we didn't know. We just knew that he was a little freak. We knew that about him, but we didn't know the lengths of it. Now we have a picture that's formed, because every time I hear a story of her testimony, I'm like, could you imagine? But let's get back to Alex Fine. So Alex Fine, listen to this. They have to go home together. How do you think that ride home was? How do you think he handled going home to hear some of the stuff that he may have not known details of? Because women, we're modest. We may tell a man some stuff, but we're not going to tell them the full details. Because is he going to really look at her the same after all this? He will be there right now, but would it last? Can you as a man sit there loving your wife, knowing that she endured this and also cheated on you with said abuser? Because we can argue that Cassie had Stockholm Syndrome. We can argue that because maybe there's evidence of that where she connected with her abuser. She said multiple times on the stand that she loved him. She wanted to please him. She did all this stuff to please him. That's typical signs of DV. Typical signs. She reached a point where she had to leave. But I'm sorry. I also have a different angle on this. Okay? Because Sean Combs, his net worth, I'm not sure if that is right now, $300 million. I Googled it. Yes, you can Google it too. Alex Fine net worth is 2 to 3 million. I'm saying the assets of these two gentlemen because she brought a lawsuit and she sued Sean Combs. She received in the settlement that he didn't bring to trial $20 million. Do you think she was the only one that helped to build that, like strategize and plan to sue P. Diddy, Sean Combs, Diddy? Do you think Alex Fine wasn't a part of that planning? I'm not saying that they're trying to like railroad Diddy because he have demons he have to deal with. But I'm talking about the circumstances. I'm just giving my opinion of what I think possibly happened. Because she had to know that this may have come out later. And if she didn't know, but she probably did. And I'm quite sure she asked her husband, Alex Fine, what should I do? And they both saw dollar signs. And they followed suit and got $20 million. Now the feds used that suit and used it to build a RICO case against Diddy. Now, everybody's saying that she's the victim. Yes, she's the victim. But she's a victim that laid her foundation to be victimized. She wanted this. She saw Diddy as a person that can help her and stuff. I don't think she understood the ramification and the situation she was going to be tied into. I don't think she knew was going to be that way and with the beatings and all that stuff. I think it was too much to endure, but she tried her hardest. Because what are you going to do? Then he blackmailed her and showing her footage of stuff. But the fact still remains is that she knew what she was doing it to begin with. She knew what she was doing to begin with. I know she was 21 when she met him, but for 10 years, 10 long years of enduring the freak-offs, the weekly freak-offs. And then the defense brought claims that poke holes in her story that made it contradictory because he's forcing you to do these freak-offs, but you're sending him text message, I enjoyed it. What is it? And that's going to happen a lot because it wasn't like she never agreed to it, is because she had too much of it and she couldn't endure it anymore and she wanted better. I strongly believe that she wanted Diddy to herself, but Diddy don't want a woman, allegedly. She wanted him to herself and she tried everything. But do you guys really think that her marriage with Alex Fine can sustain this trial? Because the media knows, his family is going to know, everyone is going to know. They're going to look at her and him in a different light. But the man laying next to her, thinking about how much urine was pumped in her mouth. The man looking at her, thinking how much men she was with. And then, he probably is not well endowed. And she may yell out some sounds every now and then. And he may look at her like, why are you acting like you can't take it? You took hundreds before me. How is that relationship going to go? Cassie is a strong woman. I tell you, she's strong. Because I don't think I would have went through with it. I don't think I would have. I would have let that situation rest. Because she's rehashing old wounds that she may have healed, because remember, she was in the drugs. Now she's clean and sober. Now she's living a wonderful life with her family and everything. So she's going back into that sunken place that she climbed out of, and it took her years to climb out of, and she reached the top. Now she's sliding down. I don't think I would have done that. She won that settlement. She received the money. There was no issue. It never went to trial because he knew he was wrong. But wow. This case is going to keep unraveling. We're going to hear other things. I just hope this is the last of the Cassie testimony. And I wish her and her family well. I wish that Alex Fine keeps his relationship tight with his wife, Cassie Ventura. But it's going to be a difficult road to walk. It's going to be difficult. Share your thoughts on this topic. Tell me what you think. If you were Cassie's husband, would you stay or would you leave? That's the cost of fame.